Hello, I'm Professor Smalley and welcome to Math 2413, the 4-week Mini-May 2017 course. Now, the first thing I want to show you is I'm already kind of jumping ahead here just so people will know this, and then we'll go back kind of to the beginning. But when you're in D2L and you open up a file, PDF file, you scroll down here and you hit download, and that's what will bring it. Sometimes the people don't realize they want to see it on the full screen. And I'll open it up from here. So I'm going to start with the syllabus, which is going to be in D2L. I'll just kind of go through this quick so you can read it. But the main thing I want to focus on is, navigating your way through the course, looking at, all the material so you don't jump right in there and not know exactly where to start wherever. So, okay, so let's see. All right, we'll skip some of this. Yada yada yada. I mentioned this in an opening announcement, I believe, also, that a news item. But if you email me, it's better to do it through D2L or something. If you send me something like from Yahoo or some other edu, it goes to my spam folder, and then I got to wait for that to get emailed to me to dig it out of there. So it'd be a lot quicker if you just either can just email me through D2L or some other email that's maybe not edu, or Yahoo is one of the ones I know that cause trouble. But anyway, because I want to make sure, and this class moves so quick, I want to be able to catch your emails as quickly as possible. Now, a little bit about myself, just to kind of give you an idea. I'm more of a night owl. I'll be checking emails as much as possible, but I'm the kind of person that, if you send me an email at 8 in the morning, don't expect to get a response in the afternoon. But if you send me an email at 10 at night, or at night right before whenever you go to bed, you send me an email, a real good chance I will have looked at it and responded to it, and then you'll see it when you get up in the morning. But if you like to email early in the morning, you'll probably have to wait a while for a response, because that's when I'll be sleeping. All right, let's go down here, learning outcomes. Book, I have posted in here a PDF file of the Larson 9th edition. Frankly, you can use any book that you want, because the assignments they're already generated problems. You don't have anything that you have to submit from a certain book. So it's not like, oh, you have to turn in the evens from a certain book section, whatever. No. But so you can use any book, or you have this PDF, the file already available, and that's kind of my notes will be organized based on that. But I don't suspect you'd have to go buy a textbook or anything. And thank goodness, in such a short term, going to shop and mess with books and all that, we don't need anything slowing us down here. And you'll need some sort of calculator, although I send a list of ones that I kind of ban not to be used on exams, the ones that can do symbolic. I may add to this list as we go. The main three I watch out for now: the TI-89, the 92, and the Inspire CAS. Now, an Inspire CX is okay, but not the CAS. Mainly anything that can do algebraic features. I don't mind if it can graph. That doesn't concern me. So like a TI-83 or 84 is perfect. Even the CX is fine. And now they have this new CE, I think that one's all right too. So now I've got just a few videos posted, and I'll be posting some more. But Khan Academy's a good site for other videos, and this website, calcchat.com, provides explanations to odd problems in the book if you're working some of those just for practice. That may not give you all the steps, so obviously you can ask me questions, but it's better than just looking at the answer. At least you'll see some sort of work to it. So that's a pretty neat site. You go in there, it's free. You click on it, you just say whatever edition of the Larson book you're using, what section, problem. It's kind of like a printed solution manual for the odds, is really what it is, just online. All right, so let's see what we got here. Zoom in this a little bit. All right, let's see how we get a grade in this course. That's probably important. Now, I have a practice list of suggested problems, and in a short term, as many as you can. Obviously, with math, the more practice, the better. But I don't collect these, but it does, help you make you stronger at learning calculus. But the thing that is graded is these quizzes. They're called quizzes, but when I go to D2L, I'll show you they're actually more like homework sets. I've always debated whether I want to change the name from quiz to homework because they're not like the exams that you're going to be taking, live action where you don't see the questions in advance. These quizzes, you see the questions in advance. You'll have the file, you'll work the problems out, and then you'll go into D2L. There'll be multiple choice, and you'll just submit your answers when you're just before the deadline, of course. So there, you can argue the name quizzes, more like homework. Anyway, there's 10 of these quizzes. Lowest 4 would be dropped. So the best 6 are counted to have a quiz grade, and if by chance you happen to make the first 6 happen to be 100s, it still wouldn't hurt even if you don't submit them, because once you have 6 100s, I guess your score is already it's already 100. So, but like going back to the homework list paragraph above, is practice is always good. So doing those other ones just for practice is a good idea. So here's what I'm saying: you have the files in advance. Okay, we have 3 exams and the final. Now the quiz grade, essentially the average of those 6 best quizzes, counts as an exam score. So I effectively, down here, I say the best 3 or 4 of exams, including this. So you take exam 1, exam 2, exam 3, and the quiz grade. The lowest of those 4 is dropped. Now the quiz grade is a huge advantage for you. So it's, you obviously want to focus on that. But it is possible that the quiz grade is the lowest of those 4, so then therefore it would be dropped. I had that happen in my face-to-face class in the spring semester. A guy was pretty much had 90s or better on all the quiz exams, the 3 exams, but happened to have about an 80 quiz average. So I said, yes, that will be dropped. But for most people, it's very helpful, and you want to do your best to get the highest grade possible there, because that way it can replace one of the first 3 exams if you do poorly on it. But that's usually the case. The quiz grade may not count for someone that does exceptionally well on the exams, but for most people, it's quite important. And then you have the final exam. So everything's equally weighted. So those best 3 scores, 75%, means those are 25% each. The final's 25% each. Pretty standard looking grading scale over here. So, okay. Well, I'm going to let you read through all this stuff in the syllabus. Oh, let me come down. Okay, let me mention this. These exam dates. Very important. We don't have time to be extending dates as class moves so quickly. I'll talk more about that later. Now, one thing I will say now, these exam dates, these are the deadline dates. Now, let's make that clear that they're not the day you have to take the exam. I'm going to submit, I haven't submitted the form into the Lone Star testing centers, which I will probably sometime during the first day when I'm working on this course and looking for emails and stuff. So I'll go ahead and submit that information so that way they're available. So this means, yes, so anybody's wondering, could they possibly work ahead? Absolutely. So those are all deadline dates. So, I suspect by the end of the first day, Monday, these tests will all be sent to the Lone Star testing centers. So theoretically, if you felt ambitious, you could, knock the course out in 2 weeks if you wanted to. Maybe that's something I'm not trying to promote, but I mean, if you really wanted to, you could. So those are deadline dates. If you can do it before those, that's always a good idea. I try to encourage people not to wait till the last day. However, I do understand in a mini thing that's a little bit different, versus a full semester. You may not have a choice but wait till the last day. So like on a calendar, it basically means you have a so we start the 15th, and that means on the 23rd will be the deadline. They're about 8 days apart. So 23rd will be so the following Tuesday will be the deadline for the first exam. Then the next Wednesday will be for exam 2. Then the following Thursday will be for exam 3, and then Saturdays for the final. Especially for exam 3, if you can get ahead and you're studying, you might not want to wait till that last day, because I realize that doesn't give you much time. That forces you to take the final on either Friday or Saturday. But if you wanted to take the test earlier, then you can take the final earlier. Now, one thing I will say though is that there is other courses I teach are different, like Cal 2 and Cal 3. But for this course, well, we don't offer 4-week minis for those either. But for this course, all the material will be self-contained in the first 3 exams. So in other words, there's not like a gap of extra material you would have to learn between exam 3 and the final. So once you completed exam 3, it would be a matter of just kind of going back over things and reviewing. So there wouldn't be like new content to learn or whatever. So all right, so let's just kind of thumb through here and have an academic calendar. Okay, the rest of that's just general Lone Star policy. So let's get out of that and let's go to D2L, which is our learning system based thing here. Oh, one thing I want to make sure I mention too is that if you're new to our D2L system, when you go in there, you have to take some sort of dopey little quiz, and it's not a math quiz. Maybe I shouldn't call it dopey, but if you've done it before, you're okay. But I don't know. I think it's something simple, and I think they want to see if you can know how to use a computer or something. I don't know, but you have to do it and get 80% better, or you cannot proceed into the course. So you have to do that first thing, knock that out, and then you're done with it. I had a problem in within the last couple semesters. A student complained they couldn't get into the D2L courses because they hadn't completed that quiz thing. So that's a one-time whatever it is. I've never actually seen it, but I've just asked other students, and they say it's kind of silly, but it is a requirement to access D2L. So let me come over here. And okay, so you go to, now I'll bring up this course, and just for a minute here I'll change my role to look at it from what it should look like from the student point of view. So it should look something like that. Now as you can see, I've already got the exams set up here in this D2L calendar on the right. Yeah, so you look like this, click on start. But anyway, all right, so I'm going to get back out of this since I'm more comfortable working with it from the way, but just want you to see what it looked like. The main thing you're concerned with from your point of view are the 3 things. There's not a lot of stuff here, but number 1 is content. Number 2 is grades. So you'll see what where your grades are posted, and then the assessments, which I'll talk about here too. So let me get out of this and go back to my role as faculty. This intro letter here, and I'll be posting several. These are news items. These are like announcements. So obviously, moving at this quick of a pace, you probably want to take a look at D2L every day. I mean, I'm not, tracking you how many times you go in there or anything like that, but I could, but it's not part of the grade. But obviously you need to be checking much more frequently than you would in a long semester in case I have anything, really important to say in such a short period of time. Now so I'll let you read through this. One thing I'm looking at, I'll see right here is the exams are password protected, and the testing center proctor will put in the password, which is different from the one I'm about to show you here. The quizzes, I'm giving you the password. The quiz for the password for every quiz is math. You can see I didn't really put too much thought into that, did I? The reason why I did that is I've had people in the past like, oh, I accidentally opened this quiz, which was fine. I went back and then reset their quiz and blah, blah, blah. I opened it by mistake, But I found by doing this, that's least likely to happen. So forcing you to have to type in a 4-letter word math there. That makes it less likely that you just clicked on it by accident. So let's go into the content here and look around, see what we got. All right, let's see. So click around over here. Now this syllabus and other assorted files, that's kind of like, syllabus, that's sort of like my dumping ground module here, that's not specifically related to other stuff. That's where I kind of throw everything in there. So if you're not sure where something might be, I think he said that there was a file for something or another. It'll be in this one, the syllabus and other assorted files. And so you see the syllabus, that's sitting there waiting for you. This video will be there. Anytime you want to watch part of it again, there's a PDF file that talks about the quiz entry, which I'll talk about that here in a minute. So yeah, and then reviewing quiz and exam submissions. But I'll jump over to the quizzes right now, then I'll come back to this since we just saw quizzes. So you see there's quizzes down here. So these are your the PDF files. They're telling you what exam it relates to. So the ones that are due for specific exams are going to be due before the deadline of that exam, maybe like a day or so before, 2 at the most, before the date of the exam. So that's why I wrote that there. Also, it's showing you what sections from the Larson book and my notes. Same thing, my notes are labeled by section. You see where they come from. So you see this, these are the PDF files. So you click on one of these. There we go. Of course, I showed you a little while ago that you can obviously, there's that download button down there. You can download it. So you just download that thing, and if you want to print it, you can, but you don't have to. So you go through and you work all these problems, choose your answers, and that will be the end of that. So to submit your answers, you do the following. Come over here to assessments, quizzes. That's where the quizzes and the exams are all located. So you see they all have these little locks here. The quizzes can be unlocked by you typing in math, but the exams have a different password. Like I said, that the proctor will open. Now what I've done now is I've opened these quizzes, but probably on the first day, Monday, and then I'll go back and start putting. That's why you don't see them in the calendar until you put a closing until I put a closing date on here. These will not be. They'll display, the due date will display in the calendar once I put a closing date on them, which I'll be working on the first day. Maybe not all of them, but at least for the first exam, I'll certainly get those done first. So, but you see, they're all open technically. They're available for entry, but not there's no due date showing, but except for the exams. So what you do is when you have the problems completed from your PDF file that I showed you, you come over here to quiz 1. Now, it probably looks a little bit different. I'm not saying it looks like this. There's probably, might have that big green start button or something. Maybe I should go back to student view. Maybe I'll do that. Let's go back over here and, just so you can see. Let me switch back to student role. Assessments, quizzes, quiz 1. All right, so it's not the big green button we saw there, but and it's waiting for the password. You'll type in math. You click start quiz. So when you go in here, you have to enter all your answers, but that's why you don't open this up until you're done. Now I've allowed 1 hour, which considering you're not actually taking the quiz, I don't imagine it would. So make sure you go slow. Obviously, I imagine it won't take you more than 10 minutes to submit your answers tops, but you should go kind of slow because one thing you need to watch for is, I don't do this on purpose, but this can happen. Every once in a while, it will scramble the answer choices, but it can't change the question, nor can it change the values. But it can scramble the answer choices, meaning that, let's say you work a problem and you're absolutely certain that the answer is 2.5. You know that's the right answer. Well, just because it happened to be answer A on the PDF file of the quiz, it might turn out to be I don't think they use A, B, C, D here. They just use bubbles, radio buttons, I guess you call them, whatever that you click on. But it might be the third radio button down there instead of the first one. But if you know 2.5 is the right answer, you click on 2.5. So don't super rush through this. Yeah, you won't need a full hour, but take enough time that you're not. So those deadlines that I'll post in the D2L, those will be the deadline that you have to open the quiz by. So let's say there was a deadline at 11 o'clock at night. As long as you open it by 10:45, you would still be allowed the full hour. And then you'll hit submit. Now let me go back to here. So that's how you'll handle all the quizzes. Well, and the exams when you're in the testing center, but you'll be obviously doing that a little bit differently because they'll enter the password for you. And I'll make sure that you're instructed to allow to have scratch paper and whatnot. So let's go back to content, back to that syllabus and other assorted stuff folder here. Yeah, so this is always an issue too, is when you go to, let's say, I usually release the quizzes shortly right after the due, right when they're due. It'll show you your score and it'll dump your score in the grade book, but you may have to wait till the deadline to see, like if you made a 90, it's not going to show you which one you missed until after it's available for you to see. But it will show you your grade and it will put your grade in the grade book. But anyway, but a common mistake and misconception, it'd be easy to do, is to view your quiz even after that deadline. People will often go back and click on that quiz again, the way I just showed you in the assessment quizzes, and think, okay, I can see my quiz now. Actually, that's not how it works, because once you've taken the quiz, that's no longer valid. You can't open it up. What you have to do is, and that way you can refer to this file if you forget. That's the beauty of having this there. You have to come over to whichever quiz it is. Like I said, only after the deadline, remember. So if you do it too early, this isn't going to work either. You click the drop down arrow and you click submissions. And if it was quiz 1, it'll say quiz 1. Then you click on that, and the rest of the time it'll be in there, and that's how you can view it. So that's a very common mistake, and I can see why that was confusing, because I know if it was me, I would probably go back and think I would just click on that same thing that activated it, but that is not correct. You'll view your submission. Okay, so there's that textbook. Here's this practice homework list. So whether you do it or not, that's up to you. I have it for the 9th and 10th edition. Now I'll make more announcements about these, but I wanted to show you. That's why sometimes students will email me toward the end of the semester not realizing some of this stuff was there. I'd been there the whole semester. And I'll send this out in a more formal announcement, but for each test you will get this trig sheet. Now it's just so you don't have to memorize any trig identities or the unit circle. That will be provided. And then there won't be any other formulas for exam 1 and exam 2, but then in addition to the trig sheet, you'll get this exam 3 formula file. Now you don't have to bring it, but it's there for you to look at so you'll know what's going to be on it. It'll be with the test, so it's not your responsibility to bring it. Same one with the final. Now this is a very important file right here. Obviously this, in a 4-week class, I guess the final exam is going to come up pretty quickly, isn't it? But this is a real convenient file. This is to help you study for the final. It gives a list of all the types of problems. So it's not, I'm sure you would love it if I gave you the actual equation and everything like that, but it ought to be kind of helpful. And also on the right, it tells you what section it's coming from the Larson book, and also on my notes, same thing. And it's not in order. And when you get the actual final, don't expect it necessarily to be in this order, but it will be the same content and questions. So I did that to help people sort of trim down what they need to study. So that's, there's all kinds of goodies here. So remember, you can go in here and look around. You're not going to hurt anything. Just don't open up a quiz until you're ready to start it. Other than that, so I'll make more announcements about these formulas being provided. Here's a web link to the Lone Star College testing centers. Now, click on that. You can see what hours they are, what days they're open. Although I would highly recommend that you verify those hours, because I don't know if there's any kind of updated over this May break, between May and June, if there's any slight alteration of those hours. But verifying in advance, what day you can go to the testing center and go, hey, what hours are you going to be open that day? I set the time limit for like 4 hours. That's way more than you need. The first 3 exams are going to be 20 questions each. The final will be 30. I usually set the final for 5 hours. But so, get there. You want to make sure you get there, but allow yourself enough time, But I don't think it'll take you 4 hours to do 20 problems. But if you're having a good time and you want to sit there, go right ahead. You'll have the right to get 4 hours. Here's that link to that calc chat I was showing you in the syllabus. I don't know what all is in this D2L resources. Here's a Khan Academy link that I also mentioned, and this algebra trig review file somebody gave me. I don't know if there's anything that you need to click on and look at in there that you might find helpful. If there's anything you might be rusty on, that wouldn't hurt to look in there. I might click on this one just to show you. See if it pops it up. Yeah, so it gives you a testing center link. So it's got all the testing centers over to the right. I guess it has, but I guess you can click on the individual one as far. Here you go, hours of operation right way down here. But yeah, please check that to make sure. I think they're all closed on Sunday. Some are closed Saturday and Sunday. Some are open Saturday. So, but you can go to any one of them. Any one of them. Okay. You don't have to clear it with me or anything. So, where was I here? Okay. So that's a good resource for you to refer to. All right, so let's see what else we've got here. Moving along pretty well here. Close to being done. I've talked about the quizzes, which is a very important thing. Went through that process. I have exam reviews. I have files down here. So you see I have sample problems for exam 1, solutions to exam 1, meaning the sample problem has answers, a key at the bottom, but what solutions means is solutions, my written out solutions. So each of these means my handwritten solutions to the problem versus just looking at the answer key. Here, I have videos. And some of them I grouped off by certain range of problems. I was worried about, I had some issues with these recording of these videos. I made them kind of short, so I didn't want to risk an error or something, and after I put that much work in. So I did them in small segments. So here's exam 1's all one file. Exam 2 has 65 problems. And I broke them up into groups of 13. Now notice I've already mentioned, don't panic with the fact that the review has 65 problems. I've already mentioned that the exams themselves are only going to be 20 problems. But, it doesn't hurt to have more to practice with. So sometimes people look at those reviews and go, holy cow, the final is going to be 60 problems. The test's going to be 60 problems. No. 20 for each of the 3, 1, 2, and 3, 30 for the final. So no need to panic there. I don't have one for the final. I don't know if I'll be putting that in there or not. Haven't decided yet. Okay, so we have that. So notes. Now you see my notes I even have some old pre-cal notes. Try to move this over. I thought I had this. Oh, that one disappeared. Well, I'll move that around. I guess I buried it. Okay. Yeah. Oh, there it is. I have some old pre-cal notes if you want them. Anyway, let's go back to our stuff. Everything's organized. I'm going to change these notes to spring 17 here, but that doesn't matter. It's not that much change. But this is still accurate though. So if you're wondering, hey, how do I know what sections are going to be on each test? It's all in the content of these individual groups. So this exam one notes tells you that these are the sections and only those sections that will be on the exam. That's how you would know. So you don't have to worry about, is he going to tell us what's going to cover what? No, it's right here. Also, if you look at the homework list, which I did not bring up earlier, that suggested practice list, it also groups the sections by exam. So even if you did some of those problems or didn't do those problems, you can also look at it that way. So there's exam 1, here's exam 2, and then here's exam 3. And I added some pre-cal notes. And I'm going to get this cal too. Man, I have the toughest time organizing this stuff sometimes. It doesn't click and drag very well for me, but I don't know where it went, but I'll figure it out. Well, anyway, I just recently added some notes for Cal 2 and Cal 3, just, whether you take a class with me or with anyone, that you're free to, they're PDF, so you can download them and save them, and they might come in handy for you somewhere down the road. If I can figure out what happened here, we'll get the Cal 3 sitting back up there, Cal 2 back up there for you. But anyway, so that's just for you to use for your own pleasure. And so we looked at the reviews. I have some lecture videos. I need to add a lot more. There's only a few sections there, but I'll be working on that early this week, adding some more of these. Probably get chapter 1 done maybe tomorrow. So you see I have some, but I'll be adding more to these as we go. And let's see, is there anything else I can think of at this time? Like I said, obviously I'll be sending a variety of announcements and whatnot to keep you posted on what's going on. So usually have a, don't want to put any pressure on you, but usually have a pretty good success rate in this 4-week mini course. Very high percentage of passing C, B, a lot of B's and A's even, but don't, obviously it's not for everybody, but it's, you're worried about like, hey, you're only like a handful of people going to pass this class. No. If you work at it, people that work at it hard usually do pretty well. So I think that's a positive way to get things going here. I hope it's everybody does great. Would be fine with me. That'd make me happy. So, but so yeah, it is very doable. I've had good success with this in the past. So, but no pressure. No pressure. So, all right. I think that will conclude this video. And I wish you the best. And I will be around via email.